Hello and welcome to the Scene Manager tutorial series. This is chapter 3 and we are going to cover how to add different lighting and environment situations to your setups. I'm going to explain how to use the sun, the dome, the HDRI, the environment, the background and the atmosphere module and how all these things work together. We're going to use the library to create HDRI maps and assign them to domes and environments. And we will start off with V-Ray, and I'm going to jump in and show you what are the differences in Corona and FStorm. Okay, so in this simple setup, I have 3 V-Ray suns and 2 V-Ray domes. So let's start by enabling the sun module. Once you enable it, you will see that all of the suns got disabled. This is because once you turn it on, it will take control over your sun lights, and by default it says disable sunlight. So to enable one of them, you just need to select the first one, and you will see that the first one will get activated. And let's continue to add these suns to the other setups. Great, so you see now each of our setup will have only one sunlight. Now we also have these domes that for sure I don't want to have them, a sun and a dome, together. So to get rid of them, just enable the dome card, and again, the same as it was with the sun, by default it will take control and disable dome lights is the default. So we should select the rest of the setups and also turn on the dome card, so we'll make sure that they will always be disabled when these suns are on. Now certainly a sun won't work without a sky. Most render engines require to have a sky map. So to enable that, you can just click this little collider icon, and by default it will switch on the environment module and turn it to sky, which is exactly the same as in the environment and effects. You will see that we have an environment map, which is our V-Ray sky over here. You can also view the map inside the material editor by just clicking on this little circle, and it will load in our map, and you can change all the properties of a sun here. So let's create 2 other setups for our dome lights. Now I know that we won't require a sun in these 2 setups, so let's select both of them and enable the sun, so all of them will get turned off, and let's also enable the domes. And for the first one, let's select the first dome light, and for the other one, let's select the other. Now each of our setup has one main light source, which is pretty cool. Now our dome light won't do too much without the proper HDRI, so let's see what options do we have. First of all, you can decide not to control the HDRI and just leave the dome as it is. But if you would like to bring it to the party, you can fetch the current map from the dome. To do that, you can see that we have an HDRI applied to this dome. So if you're inside the dome module, you can just click the fetch map from dome. And if everything goes well, you will see that the HDRI module will get activated, and then you will see your map loaded in. Now to control this even more, you can bring up your material editor and press this little circle, which will show up your HDRI over here. And you have the option to rotate it around, and also you can change the output amount if you would like to do that. But what if you have an empty dome and you would like to add an HDRI to it from scratch? Well, let's activate the other setup, and you will see that this dome doesn't have anything assigned to it. So you can do 2 things. First of all, enable the Hdri module, and after that you can browse in a single map like that, and you have the option to show it in your material editor. You can rotate and set the output amount, or if you would like to browse around a little bit more, you have the option to open up this little library, and you have two options. First of all, by default you will see Hdri Heaven, and this is the full library that is available also online, so you have plenty of options to choose from. Or if you have something in your hard drive, you can browse in that folder also, like that. But for the sake of the tutorial, let's download something from Hdri Heaven. So you have the option to search for something. Let's say I want to have a winter background or a winter Hdri. And if you click on one of it, then you will see a bigger preview of it and some information down here. You can even go to the official link, and you have the option to download them from 1K to 16K. Now let's choose, I would like to download a 4K version of this. And now you will get a notification that is downloaded. If I would switch over to my library and just hit refresh, you will see that here's my Hdri. And to load it in, you just need to select it. Okay, so let me show you what's the difference is when you would like to use Corona. First of all, you will see that our DOM module is disabled since Corona doesn't have a DOM light. So we can just ignore this and close this. But the suns pretty much work the same way as in V-Ray, so let's add two setups. For both of them, let's enable the sun module and choose one for each. If you want to use Hdris, then you need to enable the Hdri module, select your preferred map, and then you just need to enable the environment and choose Hdri. Now this way, these two guys will be linked together, so whatever you have here, it will be loaded into the environment module. Also, if you don't want to use our Hdri module and you prefer to add something more complicated, then you can use the custom option and then just pick whatever you have in the material editor and it will be added to your environment slot. If you are an FStorm user, then things are pretty much the same as in Corona, with a little bit of exception. Well, let me show you how does it work. Again, you can enable the Hdri module, load in your preferred map, enable the environment slot and pick or choose the Hdri. But in this case, it won't add it to the environment slot because FStorm uses its own environment settings, which is under render settings, environment, and you will see that the texture that we chosen is loaded here. Okay, let's check a few additional things that we can do here. So what if you would like to see your Hdri inside your viewport background? You can easily do that by enabling the background card, and since our Hdri is already loaded in our environment, then you just only need to choose the environment option in the background and it will load in your Hdri. So you will notice that all of these options are connected together. So if I would start rotating my Hdri, you will see the result in the viewport. But you can also just swap these around and load in another one. If you would like to control atmosphere effects, for example viewer aerial perspective or viewer environment fog, you can do that easily. Let's enable this atmosphere module. And as you can see, I have 2 area perspective and 1 environment fog in my effect settings. The same list that I have in the atmosphere module. So let's select these one by one. By adding this to the list, you will specify that you will take control over these effects inside the scene manager. And as you see, we only need to edit once and it will be added to all of our setups, which is pretty handy. And now let's say I want to disable the area perspective 2 and the environment fog for the first setup, and disable these and disable the first 2. So for each setup now I have one effect that I enable, and we will disable the rest. And you can see now this is not active and the second one is enabled, and the same goes for the first one. The first one is active and the rest is disabled. And that was all. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.